Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 870A, and today's date is January 18th, 2016, and the title of the episode is The Global Economy is Collapsing All Around Us, and It's Going to Get Worse. Now, before I get started, I just want to make an announcement. The interview with James Corbett has been uploaded to the X22 Report Spotlight YouTube channel, and you can go right over to that YouTube channel. Or you can come over to the x22report.com site, scroll down a little bit, you'll see it on the right-hand side. Or you can go to the newssentinel.com site. This is the site where we're streaming multiple news sources into one location. You'll see the video on the right-hand side. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, out in Greece, the economic crisis is continuing. The people are still very afraid of a bank collapse. And people have been withdrawing their money, and this is still going on. And most of the people have been keeping their funds under their mattresses. And we haven't seen a wild bank run, but the Greek people realized what happened in Cyprus when they had the bailouts, the bail-ins, I should say, and they went ahead and they started to withdraw their money. And this is continuing right now. And the wealthy have also pulled a lot of their funds out of the banking system and transferred it to other areas. And what Greece is reporting right now is they're starting to see some of that stashed currency starting to hit the economy once again, because they're starting to see a lot of 100, 200, and 500 euro bills in the large denominations. They're starting to come back into the economy. It looks like the people are going into their mattress and using these funds because they have nothing left in the bank to use, because they are holding all of it. And we see that many nations right now are also heading in the same direction, where they are going to do some type of bail-in. You have to remember, the European Union wanted all the countries ready to go this January with bail-ins. And some countries were fighting against it, but they wanted everyone on the same page. And there's a reason for this, because we're starting to see the economy accelerate deeper into the collapse. Now, we've been tracking this, we've been following it, we've been looking through all the data that comes out, and we're not talking about the data the government continually gives us, which is completely manipulated. We're looking at the real hard facts of what's really going on here, and we are seeing that this entire system now, it's imploding on itself, and we all need to be ready for what is coming. And this is not going to get better. Everything's not just going to turn around. It's going to get worse as we go along. Actually, if we go back a couple of years, it has gotten worse every single year. It has not improved whatsoever. We see out in the UK, the steel giant Tata is going to remove 1,000 jobs. Some 750 posts are being axed, and with 100 more at other steel factories and 200 support roles also in the line of fire. We're also seeing in Australia's retail union, the Shop, Distributive and Allied Employees Association, said up to 9,000 Masters workers were grappling with the grim news on Monday that they're going to be laid off. And this is coming out of their hardware stores, and a lot of people are going to be out of work. And we're starting to see this spread throughout Europe. We're seeing it in the United States. We're seeing it in Canada, and it is spreading right now. And like we said, when this thing goes south, like it is right now, it's going to accelerate, because as we go down this hill, we're going to gain momentum. And this is what we're seeing right now. Here in the States, what are we seeing? Well, we're seeing a lot of stores going out of business. Thousands of stores are getting ready to close. I mean, they've already told us, like Barnes & Noble, Office Max, Office Depot, closing hundreds and hundreds of stores. Walgreens is going to be closing about 200 stores by 2017. Aeropostale closing more stores. We already heard about Walmart. Chico's is going to be closing 120 stores by 2017. Pier 1 is going to be closing 100 stores by 2017. Golf Galaxy is going to be closing 54 stores in 2016. Pier 1 is going to be closing 60 stores in 2016. And this goes on and on and on. We are seeing a huge amount of store closures. We're seeing a lot of businesses lay off because the collapse is moving forward. Right now, Fitch has raised the warning flag about automotive vehicles and parts makers. They're saying sales right now are slowing dramatically. Inventories right now on dealer lots are continually soaring because what they're doing is they're manufacturing and they're channel stuffing the dealer lots. And what they're seeing is what happened back in 2008. We're seeing GM and Ford, their credit risk is surging to 2-year highs. And this is a huge concern because we've seen this before. We saw it right at the 2008 point when the auto manufacturers completely collapsed on themselves. Now, if the market for auto loans, if it stalls, this will trigger a chain reaction all the way down to the dealers. And all those subprime people, they're not going to be able to get loans whatsoever. What does this mean then? This means this auto miracle that the U.S. has been telling us about, it's going to suddenly disappear. It's going to be worse than 2008. Now, we are seeing retail implode on itself, the auto industry implode on itself. We're seeing more and more layoffs. This is spreading throughout Canada, Australia, European nations. Manufacturing down in the dumps. And the Baltic Dry Index is continually falling. It is down now to 369 points. This is telling us we are collapsing globally. That is what's happening right now. Foreign central banks are getting nervous. They realize what's happening. They are dumping treasury bonds, U.S. treasury bonds. They have sold $47 billion in the first 2 weeks of 2016. I mean, think about this for a second. This is the single largest weekly drop recorded since China commenced liquidating back in 2014. Because what's happening is that all of these nations are looking at the situation and they're saying, okay, the last thing I want to be holding on to is a U.S. Treasury bond. This is why China is dumping them. This is why Russia is dumping them. This is why India is dumping them. This is why Japan is dumping them right now. Art Cashin is out there and he's saying, well, when we look at the entire situation, the situation is very severe. It is very similar to what you get before we slip into a crisis. And this is where we are headed. We are headed into a major crisis at this point. France has declared an economic state of emergency. I know the president of France, President Hollande, continually, and if we go back to 2013 and you look at what he said back in 2013, he said that France is improving. France unemployment is going to drop dramatically. France is in an economic recovery. Well, here we are in 2016, 3 years later. France is worse off than it's ever been. And right now, they've declared an economic state of emergency. And what does this mean? Well, companies with fewer than 250 workers will receive €2,000 payout for hiring youths and unemployed people for contracts lasting more than 6 months at salaries below 1.3 times the minimum wage. After 2 years, the subsidy will become permanent in the form of a decrease in Social Security charges. And all of this is basically going to be permanent beyond 2017. And this is coming from the president. This entire scam that he's running right now is going to cost €2 billion. Now, of course, this is because he wants to look good. Elections will be coming up, and it's political. Is this really going to help the people? No, because where is he getting the funds to do this? Well, guess what? He's going to be using taxpayer money to pay firms to hire people temporarily, no matter what the real demand, in order to reduce the unemployment rate. So this entire thing is a complete scam, and everyone's going to be hit with additional taxes because of this. So really, is this really helping the people? No, it isn't. And they're doing whatever they possibly can to keep these systems, their system, continually moving forward. But what's going to happen here, it's all going to collapse. No matter what games they play, they can switch the shell back and forth. It makes no difference at this point. And they're just making it worse as time goes on, because governments, I hate to say this, they cannot create jobs. Because governments do not produce anything. They can't force companies to create a job. Yeah, they can pay them, they can subsidize it, but it's coming from the people. And then the people suffer. Then the people have to pay more taxes. And as we look at what's been going on, it continually goes nowhere. Look at Greece. Is it getting any better? No. Look at France. Look at Portugal. Look at Italy. Look at the United States. Obama didn't create anything. He just took the really great jobs, which everyone lost, and they created part-time work for everyone. What did they really create? It cost $600,000 for every part-time job. That's not producing anything. That's actually a loss. If he was running any type of major corporation, he'd be fired. Now, Russia wants a free trade zone with Hong Kong. The Russia-led Eurasian Economic Union is interested in expanding east, and they want to sign a free trade agreement. And they've already done this with other countries, like Vietnam, and they want to do this with Hong Kong, because what they're doing right now is they're expanding their economic umbrella. The same thing goes with China, because they realize at this point they need to continually spread out. They need to make deals, because Russia and China, this will be the next system. This is slated to be the next system, the reserve currency. This is why we're seeing everything being duplicated out east. So whatever the West has, they're duplicating everything, the payment system, the financial systems, the trade, the gold trading system. All of it is being duplicated out east. And while China and Russia are making economic deals all over the place, what is the U.S. doing? They're moving military assets into every single area, preparing for what is coming. And at this point, as we see the market continually fluctuate, which I think we're going to see very high highs and very low lows, as the high frequency traders, the plunge protection team, try to keep the market up, and we're going to go through these gyrations of the market going up and down dramatically. This is a warning shot to everyone at this point, letting you know that we are in the collapse mode at this point. And this warning shot should tell you, get prepared. If you haven't been doing this, you better start. If you have been doing this and you've been stocking up on water, food, gold, keeping cash on hand, toiletries, continue to do this. If you haven't started already, you can go to lifereliance.com. They have bug out bags, they have water filtration system, they have seeds, they have pre-made food ready to go, and you can go right over to lifereliance.com. But whatever you do, make sure that you prepare right now. And as we look at the market, as we look at everything, we can see time is running out. and it will accelerate. Things are going to get worse. It's not going to turn around. We're not going to have an economic miracle. It is just going to get worse and worse as time goes on. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.